Can you hear me? Wanted to test to see if there's feedback.
I can do it.
I didn't hear any from you, Alan.
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause I can hear myself on Samantha's laptop next to us.
I hear a bit of an echo, but it's not feedback or
Can't
anything
hear
that
any
makes you
sound.
want
Can
to.
y'all hear me?
Sorry, no, that echo is what I was
Yes.
referring to.
Yeah, we can hear you, Tony. I'm at home with a husband and a basset hound, so hopefully everybody stayed warm today. I went nowhere.
I was out for a while and the roads were fine through lunch and a little after.
I did the shoveling.
Well, that was rude. Why didn't he shovel? We haven't said anything. We haven't even walked outside other than to let the dog outside. And
I went to go get the shovel on the roads.
we need to get our shovel because it is also in our storage unit since we no longer have a storage building here.
I don't own a shovel. I own a broom that is super sufficient on my driveway.
Okay, there you go. Justin usually busts out the leaf blower.
That works
Works
too.
very well, actually.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, we got you,
Yes.
Tony.
Okay, I'm good. Thanks.
Hey, Diane, do we have anybody that's not gonna join tonight?
All that I have heard from is Jeff. I haven't heard from anybody else. We got Brandon. I keep arguing with my buttons on my computer too. I keep promoting John to a panelist and he keeps hanging out attendees and it's driving me bananas. Because I've probably pushed the button about 6 times. So John, I'm not ignoring you. I see you're in there.
Yeah, look, okay. You just got Brandon. I was gonna let you know.
John's being difficult for some reason, by no fault of his own.
I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, Brandon.
Brandon? Okay, thanks.
John, if you can hear me, John Sessoms, I'm trying to let you in.
I got you now. I can hear you, Diane, but
Woohoo! Finally.
kept kicking me out. It's all right.
I know, I kept clicking in about 10 different times. I'm like, why is this not working?
Is Devin out today?
I don't see him on here yet. I haven't heard from him.
I'll shoot him a text.
Yeah. I mean, I sent to everybody that it was going to be a Zoom meeting, so.
Sure.
Because usually he's pretty good about saying if he's not going to be there.
For sure.
Yeah, I think we got a quorum though, Joel. We have 6, right? It's like we have 6 voters.
I believe we're good.
Yeah, I think 5's the quorum.
I've got Joey, John, Ben, Brandon, Craig.
It's
Tony.
5. Yeah, 6.
And I'll keep watching for
Okay. Well,
Devin.
y'all ready to get started?
Let's get it.
So,
Yes,
now I'll
sir.
mute because I've got a husband and a doggo at home. So
All right. Sounds good. All right. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us virtually on Zoom tonight. I appreciate it. We are going to get started tonight, February 18th, with a Board of Zoning Adjustment meeting. So I'm going to call that to order, and if we could start with the roll call.
Craig Langford,
Here.
Joey Engel,
Here.
Devin Murphy, Brandon Swoboda,
Here.
Tony Davis,
Here.
Ben Lewis,
Here.
John Sessoms,
I'm here.
and Jeff Safarth is not here tonight. Did I call everyone? We're good?
I believe so. Thank you.
Okay.
Tonight's only item is variance 2501. We're revisiting the Walmart Supercenter, the parking space reduction from 786 to 769. And if y'all can remind me, did we table this last time?
Yes, we tabled that. Joey, do you want to approve the minutes for the last meeting?
Oh, good job, John.
Yeah.
Yep.
I motion to approve the minutes from last meeting, BZA 2 February 25.
Second.
Got a motion and
I
motion. and a second.
also motion to resurface and untable variance 2501 Walmart Supercenter.
Well, hold on one second, John. Let me ask a question before we do that. It says it's withdrawn. Is that correct?
Yes, it's withdrawn.
Oh, okay.
All right, then we'll leave it where it's at then.
No need. Yeah.
Okay, so with that, no new business, no other business, no announcements for the BZA. I guess with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. The BZA meeting is now adjourned. We're gonna roll right into the planning commission meeting for February 18th. I'm gonna start with a roll call.
Sorry. John Sessoms,
Here.
Ben Lewis,
Here.
Tony Davis,
Here.
Brandon Swoboda,
Here.
Devin Murphy,
Craig Langford,
Here.
Jeff Safarth is not here, and then Joe Engel.
Here. All right, unlike last time, we're going to go to item 3, which is the approval of minutes. So if anybody has any comments on that, please speak up. If not, I'll go ahead and take a motion to approve the minutes from 2/4.
John, I motion to approve the minutes from 2/4/25.
Craig, I second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Anybody against? If not, we're going to move on to item
Joey,
4. Go ahead.
If I could interrupt for a minute, Devin's now on too.
Awesome. Thanks for
Yeah,
joining.
I had an update going on.
Of course, we haven't had a Zoom call in a couple years. All right, Devin, we're on item 4 on the planning commission agenda. The BZA item was withdrawn. So number 4 is the ratification of administrative approvals. There's this I'm sorry, track split 2412 steel replat on Seba in Maine. Yeah, what happened here, Diane, or whoever's this is? Kayla, excuse me.
So there was a track split last year that ended up being withdrawn after the gas station that was going to go on this corner got withdrawn. So now they're just replatting it into 3 separate lots and dedicating right of way.
Okay. Great. If anybody has any questions, I'd like to hear those. If not, entertain a motion to approve the admin approval.
It's John, I motion to approve the admin approvals as prescribed.
Devin, second.
Awesome. Thank you all. No old business. So we're moving to item 6, new business. The first is A, Development 2410 Bradshaw, preliminary plans. Looks like it's a new building at 2025 West Centerton Boulevard. And Swope Consulting is the applicant. Phil or anybody else, are you on?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you tell us a little bit about what we got tonight?
Yeah, this has been brought as 2 separate projects. The project that's coming up later will be an expansion to the existing building, but this is additional land to the south that we've split out separately. There's 2 buildings that are proposed. There'll be extensions of the drive aisles on both sides of the buildings and parking. There's also an outdoor truck dock that's planned. Detention is expected there south of the development, and we've got a small lift station that's going to get a sewer over through Silverleaf that's been designed and approved through Malcolm.
All right. Thank you, Phil. Let's see here. This is Terrace. Tara, you on here to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, I do apologize if you can hear my dogs drinking water. They decided right now was a good time for it.
Oh, you're good. I got babies screaming in the background.
So just like Phil said, you will see this property twice. For this property, they are requesting 2 buildings in the south property. This property was recently approved on a track split to divide the property in 2 separate sections. So the north side's commercial and the south side is industrial. So this is, on 3.44 acres. The applicant is Swope and Bradshaw Properties. The current zoning is I1. They're proposing additional commercial spaces, and the right-of-way already currently exists on this property because of the existing building. The parking that they're proposing is 38 parking spaces and 2 ADA parking stalls, and the drainage report for this has been approved. This parcel is located on West Centerton Boulevard. To the west is the Schmidt Mini Storage, and to the northwest is the Eagle Heights Warehouse, and to the south is the Silverleaf Subdivision. This project proposes a building A, which is 11,900 square feet, and a building B, which is 6,000 square feet. And all easement dedications for this property were dedicated with track split 2406. minus a 10-foot, you'll notice there's a 10-foot private utility easement. They have been notified that they will need to dedicate that prior to construction with Silverleaf. This parcel is currently zoned I-1 with the following setbacks as listed below. Centerton Water is available along West Centerton Boulevard. The large-scale industrial development proposes a private utility easement to connect to the Silverleaf subdivision sanitary sewer that will need to be recorded prior to their pre-construction meeting. The drainage for this property will go to the pond that's proposed on the south side of the property. This development will share the existing entrance with the northern property onto West Centerton Boulevard. There are two 25-foot access easements proposed on the north property and is accessed by the access easements that have been dedicated with track split 2406. This development proposes 38 parking stalls with 2 ADA parking stalls. This development's parking follows the warehouse parking requirement for 1 parking space per 500 square feet and the office parking space of 1 parking space for 300 square feet. Streetlights are existing at the entrances of the north property and every 300 feet within the development. To provide adequate lighting and additional wall packs are proposed with the 2 buildings. Landscaping is provided within the open spaces through development. This includes the trees within the parking islands, around the dumpster enclosure, and around the proposed pond. There is an existing fence along the east and the west property lines. The trash enclosure, the proposed dumpster enclosure is a concrete block dumpster enclosure with metal gates. Planning does have minor comments regarding labeling, and we just are requesting approval of the preliminary plans, landscaping plan, and the lighting plan. And that's all I got.
Awesome, thank you. Quick question. I see the trees shown. Oh, here it is. I was trying to figure out if those are trees to the east. And another question was, what sort of screening is required between commercial and industrial at the front?
I'm not sure. They're sharing an access, and I think that 20, like where the lift station and stuff is drainage. So trees can't go right there, and then the rest is also drainage. So I'm not sure with this because of it being all one, like all of the road and stuff are going to connect, what the requirements would be on that. But I can look into it.
Okay, yeah, if you do that, it looks like the top on the north by the little grinder pump or lift station, looks like it just drains to the east. So I think some things can go there. And I think potentially just hollies are called out on the east. If we have anything more than a fence requirement, I don't know the zoning to the east. Is that commercial?
I believe
Okay. I would say just check the screening requirements.
agriculture.
Oh, it's ag. Okay.
I think so.
Check the screening requirements for us. If we need to add anything, let's make sure we meet code on that. I noticed some of the light on the lighting plan, there's some kind of bleed off the property on the west side, so might have to add some cutoffs or something to those light poles. But that's another thing to take a look for. More at the northwest corner at the top. You got like almost a candle foot coming over, like 0.9.
Mm-hmm.
To the east of that, it's either a storage units or the concrete patch plant. So
that's fine, and the uses match up. I just want to make sure we meet code on what we call for screening. And it was more of a question to the north, because I know they're getting developed together, but they are separate parcels, correct? Yeah.
Well, I was just saying for the light bleed, I wasn't worried about that.
The east is fine. It's the west.
I'm saying the west light bleed, I'm not worried about at all.
Well, I am, because it's in the code and they need to cut it off the property line. It's what we should be making everybody do.
For compatibility standards, there isn't anything specific between commercial and industrial. It's more commercial versus
Residential. Okay,
residential. Yeah.
great.
And these also, for the most part, are going to be the same type of thing. I mean, Bravis is its own standalone business, but it's still kind of the flex space type use.
Sure, which still leaves it open. Anything could go in there. I'm just
That's
want to
very
meet
true.
Kevin. Does anybody have anything else to add?
Well, Joey,
I think. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say, Joey, on the light, did you say just the west or did you say east as well?
I thought the east was okay. I backed out of that
Looks like-
plan.
It looks like on that same latitude across, there's some bleed as well.
Sure. Oh yeah,
So east
I see.
and west.
It's there. It's certainly a lot less, but yeah, I think we should check that out.
Yeah, kind of right where she's at.
Cool. Thanks for pointing that out, Craig. Brandon, did you have something?
No, I think my question was, when you say we should check it out, what does that mean for the team? What does that mean in regards to our voting on this?
I would propose that we, just like they asked, we approve it contingent upon the remaining staff comments. And I didn't know if this was a remaining staff comment or who was looking at that, but I do think it should be a staff comment. And I think by us pointing it out, Phil can ask his MEP to look at what we can do to cut that light off at least at the property line.
Yeah, we don't have any problem with that at all.
Brandon, are you good with that?
Yep,
I don't think
I am.
I don't think they should have to come back just for that.
Agreed.
Okay. Great. If anybody has anything else, please speak up. If not, I'd entertain a motion on development 2410.
On the landscaping plan, Joey, did you have a comment earlier about that? I was trying to study it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think there's just shrubs to the east.
Mm-hmm.
And I was making sure that, between our different zonings, the screening requirement was met that we call out. And then same on the north side, even though this is getting developed all at one time, I believe it's a separate parcel, so it could sell and do anything. A different owner, they could sell the south half, a different owner could buy it. I just think it's important we meet the code for we're consistent.
Yeah. So, I mean, staff recommends we approve the landscaping plan. And so I guess my question for the staff is just, have they met all the requirements for landscaping? I'm assuming yes, which is why you're saying it should be approved.
Right now in the code, the landscaping requirements are pretty minimal, as you guys know. Joey's asking about compatibility standards between commercial and industrial, which isn't required by the code. So if they need additional landscaping, it's at your guys' requirement.
And Alan, with that area here being drainage, could they put anything here? And of course, I know there's a lift station.
It grades the drain. It's not really a swale or anything like that. It's just generally draining to the east. And the properties on either side for future development, you said right now they're ag, is that correct? The west is developed and it's industrial. Okay.
Yeah, it's a storage unit.
And
Facility.
the other
Yeah, it's
the other side
industrial.
you said was ag, or I thought I heard the word agriculture somewhere in the conversation here.
I believe it is still ag. If somebody else wants to check so I don't show something dumb on my screen.
I'm checking.
And is the future the future plan? Do we have
A part of
What
the
that-
property to the east is actually commercial.
Okay.
So the property that it lines up with is C2.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Yes,
Brandon,
that is correct. It's already
there
been
are
cleaned
some
up.
trees over there. There's white oaks
Yeah.
on that east side.
Yeah. I'm good with it.
Awesome.
Okay.
You good enough to make a motion?
Yeah. Somebody is. Alan, I've still got my streak, Alan. Let's go.
Well, if there's no further comments, then this is Craig. I'll make a motion to approve Development 2410 with the outstanding comments to be addressed.
This is John. I'll second. Sorry, found the mute button.
Awesome. Thank you all. You got Brandon off the hook there. Thank you, Phil. That one's been approved. I believe you're also up for item B, which is Development 2414.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's give Diane or whoever's running a chance to swap over here. Okay, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, so this is really no more than just an add-on to the building on the south end of the southmost building on that north tract. I think we have a driveway extension that goes to the east to the future expansion of whatever's going to develop east of us. But other than that side improvement, all the other side improvements are really to the south of us.
So just more or less a building expansion?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Let's see here. This is Tara's again. You want to give us the rundown?
Yes, sir. Like Phil said, this is just this is going to be that north side of that property. That's C2. And the existing building that's there is the Bravis building, or they're a tenant in that building. They are doing an expansion to the south side of the property. The north property is 3.23 acres. It's currently zoned highway commercial. They are proposing the additional commercial space to the south. Right of way currently exists. Existing, they have 78 parking spaces and 2 ADA spaces. So that's already existing. They already meet the requirements per square footage. They had much more parking than what was needed when they originally built the building. And the drainage report for this has been approved with the Development 2410, which is that south property that we just discussed. So this is the same deal. This one's located on West Centerton Boulevard. To the west is the Schmidt Mini Storage, and again to the northwest is the Eagle Heights warehouse, and then to the south is that Silverleaf subdivision. This project is proposing 4,328 square feet of expansion to an existing 14,400 square foot building. And all the easement dedications for this specific property, which is access easements and utility easements, has been were dedicated with track split 2406. This parcel is zoned C2, which is highway commercial, and the following setbacks are listed below. Centerton Water is along West Centerton Boulevard. The addition, along with the large-scale industrial development to the south, are proposing a private easement to connect to the Silverleaf subdivision sanitary sewer system. So originally, this building was on septic. They are getting rid of septic for the building, and they are proposing to have the building to the north and the industrial buildings to the south to be connected to sanitary sewer. The existing underground drainage for this property will be tied to the pond that's proposed with Development 2410. No additional drainage improvements are needed at this time, and the drainage report was not required for this development as it was written out in the south property and approved. Right-of-way is not required as right-of-way already exists in compliance with the master street plan. This project will, however, be providing a 10-foot sidewalk along West Centerton Boulevard. The expansion will use the existing entrance onto West Centerton Boulevard. There are two 25-foot access easements proposed to the east and to the west of the property that have been dedicated with track split 2406. Streetlights are existing at the entrances and every 300 feet, and they are proposing additional wall packs with this addition. Landscaping is provided within the open spaces throughout the development that is already existing, which is in parking lot islands, trees along the front of West Centerton Boulevard will be relocated with the addition of the 10-foot sidewalk. So originally, I think there was like 6 trees where that sidewalk is going. They are going to take those trees and they're going to relocate them around the development. And on the plans, it does show where they're relocating them. And then again, there's an existing fence along the east and the west property lines. So this development, because they're just doing an addition, they had an existing trash enclosure. We did ask that they updated their trash enclosure from the wood to a block dumpster. So they are going to be making that upgrade with this expansion as well. And then the same, we just are requesting approval of the preliminary landscape and lighting plan. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Looking at it, I got one question. You said 6 trees. I only count 3 new ones.
I was saying where the sidewalk is going on the north side, they called out where they have existing trees. I didn't know the exact number because I was just reading the PC report, but they do have existing trees that say to be removed, but I think they are relocating them. I think there is a call out somewhere that says that they have been moved. I'm just trying to figure out where. But I did discuss it. Yeah, I did discuss it with Phil that those trees will need to be relocated.
Sure.
So they'll be spread out in the development as well. And then they already have existing landscaping from when the original building was there. So then there are islands and everything like that.
All right. I don't have any other questions. Does anybody else? If not, I would entertain a motion.
It's John, a motion to approve development 2414.
Second, Devin.
Motion and a second. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, we're gonna move on to item C, which is subdivision 2210 Magnolia Landing, phase 1, final plat, warranty bonds and covenants. Let's see here. Michael Barry or another representative from Schubert Mitchell, are you available, or Mr. Wary?
It is Justin Higgins. I finally found the person with their hand.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Dustin Higgins with HAF. I'm representing this project today. This is Magnolia Landing Phase 1. Consists of 29 single-family lots, a separate lot for detention. The remaining property is going to be platted as Tract B and will be developed as phases 2, 3, and 4. We had some minor comments that we needed to address on the plat. We got that sent back into the city. I believe they have everything they need to review. They just need the time to review it. This is the smaller phase of this subdivision. Pretty straightforward, but if anybody has any questions, just let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Dustin.
Yes, sir.
Let's see here. This one is Miss Kalis.
Yes. All right. So this subdivision is located along Vaughn Road and consists of 29 single-family lots, 1 detention lot, and Tract B, which includes phases 2 through 4 of the subdivision. The density of phase 1 is 1.94 units. The majority of this phase is the giant pond. There are minor outstanding comments remaining. As Dustin said, I believe they've turned everything in. It just needs to be reviewed, and the crazy snowstorm does not help. The site has passed final inspection. No re-inspection is required. All of their street improvements have been completed. There have been a few changes from the approved plans that you guys previously saw. The streetlights along Vaughn Road and South Tycoon Road have been moved from along the street to being attached to power poles outside of the right-of-way, and that change was approved by the Public Works Director. The power poles with the streetlights will be located within a utility easement directly adjacent to the sidewalk. And that's about 28 feet from the street. An additional street light has been added at the intersection of Royal Star Avenue and Vaughn Road to ensure that there's adequate lighting at that intersection, and they have provided the documents to show that that will be added. It's passed its final site inspection and all punch list items were complete. The covenants are under review pending approval from the city attorney. I believe those are just about ready to be approved. We were just waiting on a minor typo to be fixed. This
Those
property
came in this afternoon.
perfect. So we just have to double check that they fixed a typo. This property is not located within a designated floodplain and there are no wetlands present on site. The streets, drainage, water, and sewer bonds amounts have been approved and they're listed in your packet for you because I'll butcher a number that long. They did just submit their draft bonds. I believe they sent them yesterday and then again today, just to make sure we have them. So we just need to double check that all the information is correct on them for them to be issued. For the streets, this is located along Vaughn Road, which is a minor arterial. They're dedicating 45 feet of right-of-way with the final plat to meet the master street plan requirements. The road was improved to provide a total of 17 feet of pavement from the center line, 2 feet of curb and gutter, storm drainage, a 14-foot green space, and a 10-foot sidewalk with phase 1. South Tycoon, which is a major arterial, they're dedicating 50 feet of right-of-way along the entire subdivision with this final plat. And they constructed the 5-foot sidewalk, but the rest of the improvements to this road will be completed with phase 2. And then Goodlit Road is a major collector and they're dedicating 40 feet of right-of-way along the entire subdivision with this phase 1 plat. All other improvements will be completed with phase 4. There are some minor comments remaining on the final plat, which once again, I believe they've resubmitted. It's just had to do with some labeling and fixing a note. So we recommend approval of the final plat contingent on those outstanding comments being addressed. The record drainage report and record drawings have been approved by all city departments with no comments outstanding, and the building department has received and approved all required compaction tests for phase 1 of this subdivision. Let me know if you have any questions.
Awesome. Sounds like it went well. So thank you, Dustin. Thank you, contractor and staff, for getting all that lined out. We appreciate it. If anybody has any questions, please speak up. If not, it sounds like we're ready to recommend approval to council for the final plat, the bonds, and the covenants, contingent upon, I guess, a re-review of the final plat.
This is Craig. I'll make a motion to approve subdivision 2210 Magnolia Landing phase 1 final plat, warranty bonds, and covenants as with any of the outstanding comments to be addressed.
This is Tony, I'll second.
Awesome. We got a motion and a second. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
And
everybody.
just as a note, they do have a special council meeting scheduled Thursday to approve this
Okay.
with city council.
Great. All right. Let's go to item D.
Yep. Joey, could I interrupt just a second?
Yeah.
Sorry, I
We
didn't
moving
hear a
back?
vote on our second AW Bregas project. I heard a motion in a second. Did I miss the vote?
There's
didn't
no
hear an-
vote unless it's a public hearing, Phil.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah,
No,
I'll
you're
get
good.
out
We
Thank
can
you.
vote though if you want us to.
I vote to
No.
deny Phil.
of
I vote to-
No, Phil, you're good.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to D, subdivision 2206, Hubert Place, phase 1. Looks like the same deal, final plat, bonds, and covenants. Dustin, you doing this one too?
I think John was gonna do this one, but if he's unable to, I can.
There he is.
This is John Wary. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I'm trying to remember how to use Zoom.
I know, right?
Okay, this is John Wary with HAF. I'm going to represent the developer on this project. This is phase 1 of Heber Place subdivision. Huber Places on North Tycoon Road consists of 110 single-family lots and 3 commercial lots and 6 tracks. The tracks being 2 detention ponds, a future dog park, future park, and then one lot on the very north end that's an emergency turnaround until that road extends to the north, until Boxwood extends to the north. The 6th track is the remaining subdivision, which will be phases 2, 3, and 4. All site construction items have been addressed. There are no punch items remaining, and there are a few remaining items on the final plat and record drawings. Those documents were delivered to staff today. I'm sorry, tried to deliver them yesterday and today, but they were emailed to staff today. So with those documents, everything should be addressed. The draft bonds have been reviewed, and I think probably the only outstanding item are the compaction tests. I think there was some confusion between the contractor and the building inspector on the compaction test. What I understand is they provided compaction test on all lots that receive fill. And I think the building inspector is looking for compaction tests on all lots. So the building inspector said as long as he has those compaction tests before the plat is filed of record, then he'll be okay. So
Yeah, Robbie, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
I was going to say the contractor is trying to find some weather that will permit him to get some compaction tests on some lots. So
yeah, Robbie wants proof that every lot that has fill has a compaction test, and if there was not one required because it didn't receive fill, you just need to put on there that, NA or however.
Yeah, anything that's not remaining as virgin soil is what
Yes.
he wants. And this one pretty much had vehicles tracking over and everything for the majority of it. So I think he's looking for tests on all of them, not just the ones that had lot, because the vehicles compacted down or anything kind of spread across and flattened. So,
and again, I'm not sure of the details about all this. I've spoken with Robbie about this. He said that if there are lots that did not receive fill, and the contractor wants to meet him on site, show him there's no fill, then he won't require a test. So their contractor, developer, and the building inspector are working through that item.
Gotcha. We're not changing anything on the plat for that, though, are we?
No, we won't change anything on the plat or any of the other documents.
Okay, great.
And I'll try to answer any questions anybody has.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Tara, do you have anything for us on this? John was pretty thorough.
He was pretty thorough, but to go through it again, John is what John shared is correct. This property is off North Tycoon and Huber Road. The size of phase 1 is 46.99 acres. It's consisting of 110 single family lots, 3 commercial lots, 2 detention lots, which is track A and B, and then lots C and F for the future park and dog park. And then, like he mentioned, the turnaround lot that's on the north side. The density of phase 1 is 2.34 units per acre. There are minor outstanding comments that are remaining as of right now. They did submit electronic plans to us today, but obviously they still need to go through staff review to make sure that they're good to go. The on-site, the site has passed final inspection, no re-inspection is required, and all the street improvements have been completed. So just like Kayla mentioned with Magnolia Landing, there have been some changes from what was previously approved to what is there now. So the lighting, the street lights along North Tycoon have been moved from along the street inside of the right-of-way to be attached to power poles outside of the right-of-way. The overhead electric along Huber Road has been moved from being along the street within the right-of-way to being outside of the right-of-way. And this change was approved by the Public Works Director, and there's some images there for you guys to look at. The power poles with streetlights along Huber will be located within a Carroll Electric easement directly adjacent to the sidewalk and are 44 feet from the street. The power poles with streetlights along North Tycoon will be located also within a Carroll Electric easement directly adjacent to the sidewalk and 44 feet from the street. All the lighting was approved by the Public Works Director. The final site inspection was conducted January 9th. All the punch list items were complete and the site has passed the final inspection. We did receive approval on the covenants from the city attorney. This property is not located within a designated floodplain or wetlands. The streets, drainage, water, and sewer bond estimates have been approved. Staff are reviewing the draft of the bonds to confirm all information is correct before issuance, but the most recent information that I got was that the draft bonds have been approved, other than they're like backdated in a way. So we have to get those comments to the engineer. That came to fruition on Friday. So those will be given to the engineer when we get back in the office. Huber Road is a minor arterial with 90 feet of right of way because they built out the whole road, and it will be dedicated with the final plat to meet the MSP requirement. The road was constructed to provide a total of 38 feet of pavement, 2 feet of curb and gutter, storm drainage, 32 feet of green space to the south and 5 feet of green space on the north, and 6 feet of sidewalk on each side. The street trees are planted along the south side within the green space. North Tycoon is a major arterial with 50 feet of right of way that will be dedicated with the final plat. The road was improved to provide a total of 16 feet of pavement from the center line, 2 feet of curb and gutter, storm drainage, 28 feet of green space, street trees, and a 6-foot sidewalk on each side. Or just a 6-foot sidewalk on Tarkin, excuse me. Like I said, there are remaining comments on the final plat regarding labeling and missing information, but we did receive resubmittals of those today. Same with the record drawings. The drainage report has been approved, and the record drawings do still have outstanding comments, but they did resubmit. The building department has not received and approved all the required compaction testing, but the building department approves this going to planning commission, but must be submitted and approved prior to the city council approval. But I think that has been updated, I think, because they're going to try and go to the special city council meeting also on Thursday. I think Robbie said that it was okay that they went to city council as long as the plat didn't get recorded before he had them. With the preliminary plat, they proposed a general utility easement outside of the right-of-way along Huber Road in North Tycoon. There is a dedicated 30-foot Carroll Electric easement on top of the proposed general utility easement, and I added the record information for you guys there. The reporting document for the Carroll Electric easement does state that it does not exclude other franchise utilities from being within their easement. It's come to staff's attention that a general utility easement can overlap with an existing easement on the same property if the new easement does not unreasonably interfere with the rights granted by the existing easement. So the existing easement that we're talking about is a dedicated Carroll Electric easement along Huber and along North Tycoon. But because of the note that they added within the deed that they did for both of them, we can overlap easements. And then I just added some of the outstanding items that they have. And if you guys have any questions, let me know.
Excellent. Thank you. Guys, do you have any comments, questions on this one? And if not, I think this is the same situation as last time. Recommend approval for the final plat, warranty bond, and covenants with the remaining comments. So if there's no questions, I would entertain a motion on that.
I didn't get can you go back to the first page, Diane? I didn't get the number, the subdivision number. I'll pack it open.
Okay, can you see it now?
I motion to approve subdivision 2206 as described.
This is Ben, second.
Awesome. We got a motion and a second. So that did pass. So thank you, John.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Moving forward to 7 other business. I think these have kind of been holdouts from the last few meetings that we've been having. Does staff want to give us updates on these 3 items?
Derek, you can share your screen, I believe, if you so choose. I might have to unshare. Okay.
Okay, that sounds
wait,
good.
I could do multiple.
Can you guys hear me okay? Derek Lemon Carver. Okay, thanks, Joey.
Yes.
And Diane, are you able to elevate Juliet to the participant or the panelist level? Oh, you've got it on there. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, I'll go ahead and jump in, and then staff, you let us know if we need to do anything different. But this is an update summary for the commission. We have taken the previous comments and revisions document that you all have seen, got the printout of a few meetings ago, and kind of cleaned it up just to show kind of hopefully a cleaner, quicker synopsis of where we are on this project. So comment one, you'll remember this. There was a request to remove the wording that restricts the issuance of grading permits in Title 15. Seeing as how that's sufficiently handled in Title 16, the comments about grubbing and disturbance, things like that. So the update here is this has been addressed throughout Title 15. Example instances include the approval required section, also the notice to proceed where that is referenced throughout the code. And so you can see those two examples there. So taking away those references of disturbance and grading and rather simplifying it to construction as has been discussed. Okay, and I think anyone stop me if we need to spend more time on one, or if you have any questions, just jump in. But otherwise, I'll press on to the next one here. Comment number 2, clarify the entrance drive width requirement, ensuring that it's not measured from the face of curb, but rather as the drivable surface. And so this has been addressed as requested. This was not a huge item, but in how the 24-foot drivable surface is measured. So this has been updated to reflect drivable surface rather than measuring from face of curb, but still allowing staff to require wider widths for those commercial drives when needed. Number 3, this is a minor update to the Certificate of Development Compliance terminology that's now being referred to as Certificate of Site Completion. That was a request from staff, and that's been addressed throughout. In the improvement section specific to state highways, there was a need to reword this to better clarify how the city required improvements would be handled when ARDOT does not allow something within the ARDOT right-of-way. So this has been reworded for that clarification. It will involve close coordination with Centerton Utilities to ensure adequate spacing is provided. We'll speak more to that here in a minute, but you can see down there on letter B where it's highlighted, that is the paragraph that's been updated in an attempt to better clarify how that can work and what was being referred to there when we're talking about the ARDOT and their jurisdiction over those state highways.
Derek, this is Lorraine. I have a question on this. Could it also be additional city right of way alongside a state right of way? Because I was just thinking like along 102, how we've, when we've acquired additional right of way, there's the state and then there was our part.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna make a note to expand it to city right of way as well. Yeah, so if you have that city right of way, Laureen, then that would be the natural place for it. but otherwise being in some sort of protected easement based on whatever that provision is
Okay.
in that guidance from staff. Is that kind of sounding like what you're suggesting?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Diane, do you want to scroll down to the next one? All right, number 5. This was a calculation comment, a good comment about how the detention pond landscape items were being calculated, ensuring that it's clear on those bigger ponds, dry ponds that are 30,000 square feet or larger, how those have a slightly different ratio. So now it's bullet pointed into 2 different categories. The one you can see there in the first highlight, 30,000 feet or less ponds. So you're just applying a ratio of for every 3,000 square feet, you would apply the below numbered 1 through 4. And then for if you have a pond that is larger than 30,000 square feet, you would first do that first calculation. But then so as not to require too many plants on a much larger pond, the ratio it becomes a lesser ratio. So you're only calculating those items for every 6,000 square feet of your square feet in those larger ponds. Number 6, this comment says regarding street trees and underground utilities, provide a standard spacing requirement similar to the overhead power line and trees exhibit. So this was from the utilities team, Centerton Utilities. The comment here being that through coordination with both Centerton Utilities and the Garver Water Wastewater team, language has been added as shown below in the underground utilities section. And so you can see there are standard setbacks for trees in along the streets from sewer main lines and water main lines, excuse me, as it shows there 8 feet and 5 feet. There's also a revised tree list in Appendix A that better clarifies trees that are appropriate for those street side conditions. So we'll take a look at that here towards the end of this PDF.
Should we add that this is for collector and arterial streets?
Yes. In other words, to not require them on local and neighborhood. Is that what you're getting at, Laureen?
Yes, when we did the exhibit, we wanted to change it to collector and arterial streets for
Okay.
the street trees.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, the concern there being that there's too high of a frequency of service connections on those local streets. And so the idea that master street plan section be updated to reflect what Laureen is referring to there.
What do the service line connections have to do with the tree spacing? Because this is called out for mains.
What?
Go ahead, Laureen. Sorry.
Okay, well, we ended up discussing is the street trees along the subdivision streets. We're going to have to look at something else with the utilities because there is just not enough space to try to put a tree in with the mains and then all of their taps along with all the other utilities. You know, there's only that one 5-foot section, but they're already having problems with having to fix taps and they're like the ball of the tree.
Yeah, no, I understand. Okay,
Yeah.
I was just making sure I was following.
Yeah, so we're gonna look at it. We have 2 ideas that we're gonna look at doing where either add an additional 5-foot setback in the front or look at, or have a meeting with the franchise utilities and see if any of them would be interested in going in the back of the properties and freeing up another 5 feet in the front for trees. And then it would just be up to the property owners.
You can get them in there before the franchise utilities get there. I'm just saying.
Well, we don't have much room between gas. We have water, either water or sewer, gas, electric, and then all the communications. We have 3 different telecommunications going through.
Yeah.
In 20 feet, so we're kind of tight.
Oh, I understand. All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right. With comment number 7, can language be added to ensure that utility providers are not responsible for replacing plants and landscape materials within the utility easements? We have added that in the landscape section 0801C12 responsible parties, and you can see there when landscape improvements are provided in platted easements, it's the responsibility of the property owner to maintain and replace if damage occurs. However, in no event is Centerton Utilities held responsible for repairing damaged landscape improvements within easements.
Would that not be better suited to be within their easements, like their easement documentation? I'm just
Well,
throwing out an idea.
This was going along with the landscape part also, right, Derek? That we were just making, they just wanted it reiterated in the landscaping that if they put them in the utility easement, they are not responsible for them when they have to rip them out.
Yeah,
And
I think part of that was we do want in the code, where when a development is approved, with a site plan and they have required landscape items, that when those die, that the city can ask for those to be replaced within a certain time period. And so I think kind of when that was seen, there was just a concern that making sure that if a utility is doing work in a utility easement, that they don't get dinged as being responsible for that replacement in those situations. So I think that's kind of why it was requested to show up here in that landscape section.
Okay.
All right. Number 8, also from the utilities, concern about certain trees being placed over water and sewer lines and utility easements. We've kind of touched on that just a minute ago. So as noted above, language has been added to 0801C8 underground utilities that we just looked at, requiring those minimum offsets from those mains that we saw. Regarding a vetted list of trees appropriate for street trees, Appendix A has also been updated, clarifying which trees are suitable to be planted in those situations. So you can see there's some new language here. Not only do we want to think about trees that are male or non-fruit producing cultivars to avoid fruit droppings, there's also special research that's been done to look at trees that can still perform well as street trees, but not require as much generous physical space as some other species. So what we've done is taken these recommended tree lists, and if it's not appropriate as a street tree, it's going to have a subscript, superscript number 1, also orange text. And so you can see there an example from a section of Appendix A, how that is being provided for that kind of guidance when people are putting their site plans together. And then number 9, this is an update. I know there was discussion recently on completion deposits in lieu of those completion deposits as a mechanism to obtain the record drawings. Or there was a request to revise the closeout process to more closely coordinate this with Centerton Utilities. And so you can see minor updates have been made throughout the 0506 development final application to align with that. And we're showing here on the screen a key update that does coordinate that. So you can see that certificate of site completion and Centerton Utilities and how those departments can work together to make sure that those minimum standards, like those record documents and those other listed items, can be achieved and be achieved in a hopefully in a timely manner.
Derek, I think it also needs to have the record, besides the record documents just being approved, but they need to, the final record documents have to be received.
Just
Okay.
approved and received.
Yes.
Approved and received. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank y'all for working on that. That makes a lot more sense than the $10,000 deposit.
Yes, and if there's any reason that someone can't comply, then they can come to you all and ask you if they want to put up a performance
Perfect.
bond for anything that's not complete.
Perfect.
Okay.
And that's all I have as far as updates this time from our angle, but staff commission, let us know if you have any questions or if there's anything else that we can speak to. We're happy to do so.
Well, it looks great. Feels like we're getting there. What's the plan on public hearings and taking it to council, or voting on it first and taking it to council?
Actually, we're going to hold another public hearing, which, for publication purposes, but the earliest we'll be able to do is March 18th. So I'd like to go ahead and set the public hearing. And we have the final document, the draft that Diane, I believe it was sent out to everyone. If not, we'll make sure that it is sent out to everyone. Go through it all again, everyone review it. And at the next meeting, if there is anything else that we need to look at or change, bring it up. But I'd like to have the public hearing on March 18th.
Maureen, I'm not positive, so I'll check on that tomorrow.
So that would slate it for the last council meeting in March.
Yes.
Okay.
No. The last planning commission meeting in March. And then the council meeting, there would actually still be another planning commission meeting in April. Let's see.
Whatever that first Tuesday is.
Yeah, I looked that up and I didn't write it down.
Yeah, that's fun. The first one in April.
Yes.
Okay.
So I would go to council April 11th.
Okay. So we have a meeting on 4/4.
Hey, question. Has this been shared with them? Can we share the final draft with them? Would that maybe create some buy-in?
With council
council,
and everyone? Yes, I think it would be a good idea to send it out to planning council and department heads.
Great. All right. Is there anything else on the Title 15?
That's it that I
Okay.
have.
Item
Thank
B.
you, Jerry.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Are there updates on B?
On B, not much of an update. It is looking like it is going to be probably April before we have a plan from Decatur so that we can even evaluate of where we are going to be, or of what ADH can look at to see if they can release anything. But the construction projects, it's going to be a year. It will be probably January, February next year before some of those are complete, and then they have a plan to increase the capacity even more. So we won't know anything else for probably a couple of months.
Okay.
And then, but we will, Malcolm, we're still trying to get together and write a letter to all the developers that we can send out and update them on what we have so far. And then on CDI training workshop. Okay, we did bring this up with the city council at the last meeting, and they were very interested in doing this. We are looking at the planning commission and the city council having a joint workshop with training that it's done like a game, but it's like doing scenarios where you're looking at development for your town, and you have different scenarios of what you want to accept in your town, and making decisions like one was what, you have the opportunity of wind turbines coming, and, or a certain industry, are you going to allow that in your town in a certain area? But you have these different scenarios, and based on those decisions that you make, and you're in groups of doing this, but it comes out, what your growth of your city is. And it is really fun. So we want to know how many planning, and also they will be providing catering the dinner that night. So we'd like to know how many of the planning commissioners would be interested in attending.
It's gonna be fun and free food.
My biggest question is, you said dinner. Is it after work? Is it all afternoon? Do we know the time?
It will be evening. So, I mean, I think that this is my guess. We're planning probably start dinner, or food will be available like 5:30, and then start the workshop at 6. So
Okay.
it's kind of what
Alright.
I'm think
Yeah.
that we're looking at.
Would this be for Ruth Chris or?
Close, maybe rib cream.
I'm teasing.
You're
That
gonna get
sounds good.
McDonald's, John.
That's fine with me too. I don't care. Sure. I mean, if it's something you need volunteers for, I mean, if looking at the time, depending on the time frame, it's like April 22nd. Yeah, I think we can have enough time to plan for that. And I can attend at least.
Yeah, it's the 4th Tuesday of the month. That was when. That's our only time we don't have a meeting already scheduled with planning and council.
Sure.
But it would be great training.
I'd be interested.
Yeah, you put me down for it. I'll just remind me. So, but
Yes, we will. We'll send you all information.
It's 2 months away. I'll forget, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got a Tony,
Yes.
Ben,
Yeah.
and a Joey.
Yep.
You put
And then
down.
John.
Yeah, I'll go.
Craig,
Looks like my schedule's full on that date, so.
you can't. Okay.
I'll volunteer Jeff as well. Just put everybody down.
Okay. So the
Hey.
only one,
Brandon on here too.
On April, yeah, I am unavailable.
okay, and Brandon's a no.
Man, y'all must be really important to be booking 2 months out.
Oh man. Right.
Okay.
Well, when
Devin, what about
Ruth
you?
Chris was put down, I was out. So
Well, okay. Well, we'll send out more information, but I think you'll all have a good time. Kayla and I did it at one of the workshops that we went to, and it was really fun.
All right.
Made you think about the decisions, that you're making for the community. So,
Yeah, I think it's also just a really great opportunity for you guys to get to interact with the new city council, since the majority of them are new. And so they can get a better understanding of what you guys are evaluating when you're making decisions as the planning commission too.
Thank
Awesome. Staff, do y'all have anything else before I go over announcements?
It wasn't on the agenda, but you guys probably got an email from Megan Brown with ULI. We're holding interviews with a technical assistance panel on the 26th. And we've invited all of the city council and all of you guys to come answer any questions the technical assistance panel has. They're basically a panel that ULI put together to help determine what information we should be putting in our RFQ to find a consultant to write the downtown plans. So they'll ask you guys questions about like how you want to see the city grow, what the goals are, what concerns you have, all of that kind of stuff so that they can take it into consideration. So if you guys can come to that, that would be really, really beneficial, I think, to the program.
And I also want to mention that there is a special council meeting scheduled for Thursday night to approve the final plats that you're recommending for approval of Magnolia Landing Phase 1 and Huber Place Phase 1. And it is also going to be virtual.
And I wanted to let you know before you do the announcements, Joey, that the tech review meeting scheduled for the 20th has been canceled because we don't have anything new that needs tech review.
Okay. Give you all a chance to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And
All right,
thaw
perfect.
out.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully by then.
Yeah.
We are closed tomorrow. City Hall is closed tomorrow. It's been
Okay.
announced. But we all have
go
been
ahead.
working at home a little bit. So
Yep.
if you need us, let us know.
As long as the street department's not closed, we're all right.
Actually, the Centerton Street Department does a really good job. I live in Rogers, and I'm like, I'm staying my behind here because I don't know how good it is between here and there.
I haven't been out. We'll know in the morning when it all freezes again. Let's see.
Awesome. Well, thank y'all. Thanks everybody for getting on tonight. Had to dust the computer off and the Zoom button off. Glad it's working now.
That's why I sent you the instructions for a reminder.
Yeah, I know. Most of us looked at them, but Devin didn't. So
No, I had an update on the other end of a Google thing,
mm.
not Zoom.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Going through the announcements. Next council meeting is actually Thursday. Next PC meetings 3-4. Next tech review is also canceled. So unless anybody has anything else to discuss tonight, I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Thank y'all. Everybody have a good night. Stay warm.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, y'all. Stay warm and be safe.